All right, second grade friends, this is our Earth, okay? And before I go any further, this is what I want you to do. You can go ahead and push stop and then you can come back, but I want you to draw yourself on top of the Earth and I want you to draw what you think is underneath you, wherever you're standing, okay? So here you can see this is a picture of me and I am above the ground and I've left a huge amount of space on my paper for what's below the ground. What do you think is below where you're standing? What would you find if we were to dig into the earth and what would you discover? So that is what I need you to do right now and then you can come back and we'll talk about what's actually in the earth. Okay, so when I talk about what is actually in the earth, here I have the earth right here, holding onto it, and you can see that that's our earth, okay? If I were to slice it in half like an apple, this is what we would find. We would find that there are four layers. And ironically, the one that we know about the most, this outer layer, that is called the crust. So think about a pizza and think about the outside of a pizza. That is called the crust, and that is the smallest layer of the whole entire earth. So we only know a little bit about the crust. Even where there's oceans, that's where the crust of the earth is. So a lot of times boys and girls say to me, "Well, Mrs. Matthews, how far do we drill in? How far can we go into the crust?" We have only we haven't gotten that far. A couple of miles. Okay? We've only gotten a couple of miles. It would cost too much money for us to get into the next layer. Okay, and so people think, well, how could that be if it's so skinny? How come we haven't been able to dig into it? We just have not. It would cost us so much money to go down any further than what we have done. And there's a couple sites out there that show people that are drilling into the earth and how far they've gotten, and you can look that kind of thing up. But the next layer right here, this orange part, this is called the mantle. Okay, that's called the mantle. If you think about your fireplace mantle, it surrounds your fireplace. But another word for mantle is like an old-fashioned cloak or a coat. So if you think about this mantle, it's kind of protecting what's coming next. All right. And we could have liquid lava in the mantle. We could have some magma there that's floating between the mantle and the Earth's crust. Our next layer, this red one, this is called the outer core. Okay. Well, if that's the outer core, then I can already hear you saying it. This one is the inner core, right? That is the inner core. So we've got four layers: crust, mantle, outer core, inner core. Four layers of the earth. Cool. In activities, and we'll see this thing that says layers of the earth. We're going to click on this green plus right here in the middle that says add response. We go ahead and we add that. I will go in as Mrs. Matthews. I find my name, Mrs. M. There I am. So I click on this. Now it's going to pop up and I'm going to either be able to use the T for label or I can use some of the colors down here at the bottom. I know that we love the neon. We are not going to be using the neon today. So the first thing that we know automatically is we know that this right here is going to be the crust. So whoops, I'm going to click on the T and then I'm going to type in crust. And I'm going to move it right over here. I can clean it up a little bit by clicking on the white buttons. And then when I do that, I can also go to the style and I can make it down here so that there is no background. There we go. Crust. Now we know that the next layer, the second layer of the earth, is called the mantle. So I'm going to click here, I click the T, and then I'm going to type in mantle. So here we go. Whoops, I have to click that T again. M-A-N-T-L-E is mantle. And again, I can make this a little bit smaller. I can clean it up. It's not wanting to move for me. Hang on, there we go. So once I get here, I can make it smaller. I see this little cross sign in the middle and I can drag that over here. Again, I can go to style and I can select the one with no background. So now I've gotten two, crust, mantle, and then the third one is going to be the outer core. It is around the inner core. I go back up here to the T, I type outer core, C-O-R-E. I click on it again so that I can clean this up. Whoops. Oh, it is just being finicky today. There we go, outer core. I can take this whole thing over here and I pop that into number 3. And then if I'm going to do number 4, if I just did outer core, then I know what's coming next. That must be the inner core. I go ahead and type that in. I can click on this. There we go. Clean it up a little bit. Drag it over. All right, now for the coloring part, I would say let's go with a colored pencil or let's go with a skinny marker. Let's leave these other ones alone over here. So if I go with the colored pencil, I can color the interior of the earth yellow. So I can go ahead and, oh, that's going to be skinny. If I click on it again, I can make it bigger. There we go, I can make it bigger. And I can color this all in yellow, but I think, oh, that's not really a great color, yellow. So anytime I make a mistake, up here in the corner is undo, 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 there we go. And now if I go to the pencil, maybe I want to try the skinny marker and I want to get a nice bright yellow. Let's see. That's pretty good. And now, again, if I go into the marker, I can choose how big I want it. Oh, too big. Oh my goodness, I have to take that out. Now I'm going to go here and I'm going to get the kind of middle one. And I can so carefully color this in. There we go. You get the hang of this. Okay, you would finish coloring this, but then maybe I want to choose a different color for the outer core. So I'm going to go here to the outer core and I'm going to carefully color it in. There we go. And then you would finish coloring this in, obviously. You would be doing your best work. I'm just doing this so that you get the hang of it. Color in that's the outer core. And then if I wanted to do the mantle, maybe a nice red. And maybe I want it to be a little bit bigger. That's up to you. But here we go. I would color in this. I would do my best work, nice and slowly. Okay, there you can see that there are the 4 layers of the earth. And then, last but not least, if you want, you could maybe add a little blue for the crust. A little bit of blue, you could mix in some green, because the crust is where we live. The crust has oceans and the crust has ground. Totally up to you. When you are finished, you can click the green check. There you go. And then it will upload and you will be all set. And there you can see that mine is just uploaded. So awesome. I hope that you enjoy that and I will talk to you next time.